In Chimney Town, frozen in time, after losing his friend Poupelle, young Lubicchi wanders into a mysterious realm where a clock in a tower is frozen at 11:59. To return home, he must restart the clock again and find the courage to believe again. Town Frozen in Time is directed by Yusuke Hirota, and this film is a sequel to his directorial debut, Poupelle of Chimney Town. And Chimney Town Frozen in Time just debuted at the 2026 Berlin Film Festival and will be released in Japanese cinema starting March 2027, 2026. Film Poupelle of Chimney Town in 2020 was a modest box office success in Japan, and now we have the sequel, Chimney Town Frozen in Time. And I did enjoy this new film more than its prequel, but it does have that friendship between Poupelle and Lubicchi is missing in this film, but this film has a lot more going for it. It's much more ambitious in its storytelling. Its animation is a step up from the original film, and it has a lot of themes and a lot of adult themes that go through this film that it's such an advancement over the original film, even though it doesn't really have that. It does miss that friendship that it has in between Poupelle and Lubicchi. Chimney Town Frozen in Time is set 1 year after the events of the previous film, and Lubicchi, he has not really gotten over his friend going missing, and he's tried so many different ways to bring him back, but it hasn't come to any fruition. So he's just tried to put the memory of his friend in the back of his head and get on with life. And one day he's going as usual. He's going through this Chimney Town, and this Chimney Town has changed a lot. Like in the original film, it's this kind of like steampunk world where it's kind of like an influence of films like Delicatessen and City of Lost Children. That's what the original film reminded me of. But the first 10-15 minutes of the film, it's so bright, and the film really shows you this world, like compared to the original film. It's so bright, and we get to meet a few of the characters from the first film in the beginning of the film as well. Some of the favorite characters, like the man who never stops talking. But then Lubicchi, he's causing mayhem around town, and he ends up falling into like this well, and then goes deep into the water, and he ends up in this mysterious world, this very dreamlike, strange, where everything that happens in this mysterious world is revolved around time. And when Lubicchi enters this world, he meets a cat. He lands on this boat, and this cat says, "Get out of my boat! I can't share my boat with you." And this cat is transporting a clock tower, and he's making deliveries to a tower. And then eventually, once Lubicchi and this cat deliver this clock tower, Lubicchi is tasked with fixing this whole time problem this mysterious world has, and Lubicchi has to fight. Lubicchi goes to this tower, and there's this big clock in the sky, and he is tasked with trying to fix this time. And as I said before, this film is very ambitious in its storytelling, because we get introduced to a couple of other characters. There's this kind of princess type character. She starts working in a bar, and she's a very good singer, and she catches the eye of this guy called Gus, and he controls all the time in this mysterious world, and he works at the clock tower, and he's a bit of a drunkard. Like, he kind of looks like a Disney prince, but he's a bit of a drunkard, and he likes to drink on his time off, and he's very, very famous in his world because he controls pretty much the whole world. He's one of the most famous people in this world, and he goes to his bar to have a drink with his friends, and he catches this little princess singing in the bar, and then this turns into like a little love story as the film goes on. And as the film goes on, that their love story continues, and then when we're transported back into Lubicchi's journey, how to fix the time, it just tackles so many things. Like we find out so many devastating information in the final acts of the film, and then it all, the time wise, once we find out, once Lubicchi gets into the clock tower and he finds out why the time has stopped, why this time has stopped at 11:59, he meets Gus when he's like 100 years old and he's like gone crazy, and we find out that his love, the princess, has passed away in a fire, and he's just been waiting years for her to come back. I won't give away too much about the ending, but we'll find that she didn't really pass away, and there's a reason why she ran away, and it's quite a devastating reason why she thinks she wasn't good enough for him, and it was also Lubicchi, to have the courage and the ability to fix the time. He has to forget about his friend, the garbage monster from the original film, and this film is about letting go. If someone in your life has passed or not in your life anymore, you have to let them go. And this film tackles a lot of adult themes. I think this film is quite different to the original film Poupelle in Chimney Town, because I think it tackles a lot of adult themes, and it's more adventurous in its storytelling than the original film. And in both the timelines in this film, the princess and Gus, they have really nice back and forth. They really have like a love-hate relationship, and it's quite amusing in the film. And also the Lubicchi and the cat, they have a very like hate, because the cat is very much a cat, like he's selfish, and it makes quick one-liners throughout the film, so they really bounce off each other quite well. I still, as I said before, the film really does miss that friendship between the garbage monster and Lubicchi that the original film had, that heart of that film. But because I think this film tackles so many more interesting themes, and really the ambitious storytelling and the improved animation of this film does make this film, I think, a little bit better than the original film. I give Chimney Town Frozen in Time 4 stars out of 5. You definitely need to see the original film before you're watching this film, just to get the connections between the characters. But I do definitely recommend checking out this film. The animation is a step up from the original film, and then for an animated film mainly aimed at children, this really tackles a lot of adult themes, and it has a really nice relationship between a few of the main characters. So I definitely recommend checking out this animated film, Chimney Town Frozen in Time. Thanks for watching. What did you think of Chimney Town Frozen in Time? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.